good afternoon, everyone. So, nice to be here again after some time. And thanks for coming this afternoon at a short notice. This talk is about the impact of impact of trade on sustainable development, basically. And this is, I should acknowledge funding from United Nations Economic and Social Council for Asia Pacific in Bangkok. So this was done as a research project for them, and actually two projects. So I'm going to base this presentation on two different projects I did for them. So the idea is to we know the economic gains of trade, and we know that there is a lot of literature on that, and there is increasing literature on trade and sustainable development, particularly on environment, and to some extent on food security and gender and various things. So the United Nations, the division here, they wanted to the trade division in this office. They wanted to understand more practically what are the implications of ongoing trade scenarios on different aspects of sustainable development. So, yeah.
I guess I find the word sustainable as a bad wash. What does it?
So
what does it mean here other than good?
Mm-hmm. So I will actually talk about this particularly, but just to give an overview, our idea was to look at the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, which are basically a combination of environmental, labor, equitable development, part of the development agenda, and also to some extent food security, gender equality, and so on. So in this paper we are going to focus on environmental inequality and food security. So there's three aspects. So looking at all the aspects of sustainable development is too much beyond the scope of this study. So we just focus on three broad aspects. So I'll come to that later. So it's the usual. I'll introduce the topic a little bit and then methodology and results. So coming to your question on sustainable development, so there are 17 specific goals, and there are 169 targets, and they keep changing the number of targets, but at the moment it is 169. And these targets are variables like emissions or gender wage gap, inequality, and a lot of different things like that. Both these 17 are more broad measures, and 116 are very specific measures. And there was a Sustainable Development Goals. So this is kind of the follow-up of MDG, which was a Millennium Development Goals. So after making some progress on MDGs, the UN, World Bank, and other organizations, they decided to come up with these SDGs.
It's a list of good things.
Huh?
It's a list of good things.
List of good things. Yeah, true. Good things. It also includes economic growth. So it includes both general economic growth and the developmental aspects, and environmental aspects, gender, and wider things. Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean the things that I suppose things that can be sustained over time, as opposed to things that can't be sustained over time.
Yeah, I think the reason why they use the word sustainable here is because there are things like sustainability, environmental situation like emissions. So if economic growth leads to more emissions, then it is not sustainable, right? So if economic growth leads to more inequality, then it is not sustainable. So we don't focus only on the economic growth, but also on the other social and environmental aspects.